Good morning, ma'am. This is Navita. My presentation topic is equivalent norm. First of all, we define equivalent norms. Suppose X is a linear space over F. Norm 1 and norm 2 are two norms on X. Then norm 1 is said to be equivalent to norm 2 if there exist positive number A and B such that A x norm 1 less than equal to x norm 2 less than equal to B x norm 1, or A x norm 2 less than equal to x norm 1 less than equal to B x norm 2. This relation of equivalent norm is an equivalence relation on a set of all norms over a given space. Now theorem: on a finite dimensional space X, all norms are equivalent. Proof: we shall prove the result by showing that any norm is equivalent to a particular norm called zeroth norm from defined as: let dimension x equal to n less than infinity and let x1 x2 so on xn be a basis for x, then x belongs to capital X. There exists a scalar alpha 1 alpha 2 so on alpha n such that x equal to summation 1 to n alpha I xi. Define zeroth norm equal to norm summation 1 to n alpha I xi norm 0 equal to maximum mode of alpha I. This is clearly a norm on X and is called zeroth norm. Let norm be a norm on X, then we have to show that exist two real numbers A and B greater than 0 such that norm x naught less than equal to x less than equal to norm x0 x zeroth norm for any x belongs to capital X. Consider norm x equal to norm summation 1 to n alpha I less than equal to summation 1 to n norm alpha I xi equal to summation. Now we take alpha is a scalar, so we take outside. Now we have maximum mode alpha I summation 1 to n norm xi. Norm x naught summation 1 to n norm x1 where b equal to summation 1 to n norm x1. Since the basis is fixed, we take summation 1 to n norm xi to be a number b norm x less than equal to b x zeroth norm. For the remaining part, x norm greater than equal to a x zeroth norm. We prove this by induction. Consider the simple case of one-dimensional space with basis xi, then every x belongs to capital X can be uniquely represented as x equal to a1 x1. a1 belongs to F and x belongs to capital X, where alpha I x alpha 1 alpha 2 so on alpha n is a basis for x. Now we shall prove the result for subspace of X. Let M be a subspaces of X generated by x1 x2 xn so on xn. Then norm x similar to zeroth norm on M. Let yn be a Cauchy sequence of elements of M with respect to norm, then is also a Cauchy sequence with respect to zeroth norm. Consider the ith term of these Cauchy sequence y1 equal to alpha 1 plus alpha 2 x2 so on alpha n minus 1 xn minus 1, where alpha 1 alpha 2 are scalars. Then by definition of Cauchy sequence in M, norm ym minus yp zeroth norm tends to 0 as M or P tends to 0. That is norm summation 1 to n alpha j m minus alpha j p xj as mp tends to infinity. Maximum of alpha I alpha jm minus alpha jp tends to 0 as nm tends to infinity. This is a Cauchy sequence of scalars for each I and hence is convergent. That is, there exist scalars alpha 1, alpha 2, so on alpha n minus 1 such that limit n tends to infinity alpha j equal to alpha m alpha j. Let y equal to summation 1 to n minus 1 alpha I xi implies that yn tends to y equal to alpha I xi. Thus yn is convergent to y with respect to 0th norm. But norm tends to 0th norm implies that yn tends to y with respect to norm. Under the induction hypothesis, we shown that the subspace M is complete with respect to an arbitrary norm. This implies M is closed. Every complete subspace of a norm linear space is closed. Consider nth basis vector xn of x and form the cosets x plus m. Then for each yz belongs to m, norm y minus z equal to both sides x. We have to add x and subtract minus x. Then we get xn plus m is isometric to m, and since m is closed, then we get that x plus m is closed. So x plus m complement is open. So now we claim that 0 does not belongs to xn plus m. If 0 belongs to x and m, then 0 equal to xn plus z. For z belongs to m. Now 0 equal to 1 xn plus beta 1 x1, so on beta n minus 1 xn minus 1. For some scalars beta 1 beta 2 are scalars, which is contradiction because x1 x2 are is a basis, x1 x2 so on xn is a basis for x. 0 does not belongs to xn plus m. Also 0 is a point of open set xn plus m complement, hence there must be a whole neighborhood of 0 lying entirely within xn plus m complement. In other words, there must exist cn less than 0 such that for any x belongs to xn plus m. Now x minus 0 norm greater than equal to cn, where 0 belongs to xn plus m complement. Thus for all alpha I belongs to f 1 to I from 1 to n minus 1, norm xn plus alpha 1 x plus alpha 2 x2 so on alpha n minus 1 xn minus 1 greater than equal to n, which implies that for any alpha n belongs to f. Now we have, if an equal to 0, above inequality holds. If an not equal to 0, then we have alpha 1 by alpha n xn so on plus xn equal to greater than cn. Suppose now that we had not taken m equal to x1 plus x2 so on xn minus 1, then we taken x1 x2 so on xi minus 1 x plus 1 xi plus 1 so on xn. Then since the only fact about m that has essential to our claim and discussion was its dimension n minus 1, it is clear that in a similar manner we would arrive at some ci greater than 0, that norm alpha 1 x1 plus alpha 2 x2 so on alpha n xn greater than equal to ci alpha I, where I goes to 1 goes 1 to n minus 1. That is for any alpha, that is for any x equal to summation I to n alpha I xi. We have norm greater than equal to a alpha I, where a equal to minimum of norms mod ci. Now combining these two results, we have a x norm 0 less than equal to norm x less than equal to b x norm 0 for all x belongs to capital X. Norm and zeroth norm are equivalent, hence norm over a finite dimension space X are equivalent. Thank you, ma'am.